Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a while. I've just had a lot of shit going on, so I apologize for the long absence. Real quick, I just want to get this out of the way. It is my New Year's resolution to keep making videos. I really love this. I like the creative outlet. I need the creative outlet or I'm going to go crazy. But that being said, I'm going to not just focus on D&D content. I'm going to expand to cover other nerdy stuff. So I hope that's okay. I will still make D&D videos occasionally, so you can definitely expect that. But I think nerds like a wide variety of nerdy things, so hopefully you won't get too annoyed if I go kind of Marvel heavy, because that's just, I go through these phases and that's what I'm doing right now. I'm reading a lot of comics and, I've got like a lot of material that I'm working through like in omnibus form. And anyways, I just wanted to let you know that, I understand if you feel like unsubscribing because you only wanted D&D content, but I hope you don't. I hope you stay and I hope you enjoy what I have in store. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep my channel name Blue Dragon RPG because there's like a mental battle in my head right now about whether that's an appropriate title for my channel or not, or maybe I shouldn't even worry about what my channel's called, because who cares? But yeah, I don't know. So I just need to cover this book though, because this book is incredible and I can't wait to show you. Don't mind me, bear with me. I'm very out of shape and this thing is heavy. I'm just kidding. All right. This huge tome here, look at how thick that is. This is Spider-Man Volume 1 by Taschen Books. Absolutely incredible and just worth talking about. And so that's what I wanted to make my first video on, because I think everyone should know about this if you're a Spider-Man fan. So let's change the camera around, get a top-down view of this so I can flip through these pages and show you how magical this book is. All right, let's crack this thing open. All right, hopefully I'm set up to where this book will fit in view. But I wanted to start off with showing you the box that they shipped this book in. It's really cool. Definitely the coolest shipping box I've ever seen. So it just has the cover of Amazing Spider-Man #1. The side just says Marvel Spider-Man. And the back is issue 19, which is really awesome. There's a little barcode down here. Now, they don't put the shipping label directly on the box, which is something I appreciate, because I want to keep this box. This is amazing. So what they do is they just wrap it and then they put the shipping label right on the plastic wrap. So that's cool. It's just a little side note. I just wanted to show that off real quick. Wow. I don't even think this fits completely in view, but you'll get the gist of it. So this is The Amazing Spider-Man Volume 1 by Taschen Books. This is a really cool project that they're doing. They just signed a long-term deal with Marvel to start producing books like this. This clocks in at just shy of 700 pages. I think it's like 698 or something. So basically what they're doing is they are taking actual like collector level copies of these original books from the 60s. So they're finding collectors that have the most pristine versions of these books. They are borrowing them, taking high resolution pictures of these comics and then reproducing them. And it's really cool how they do it. I'm going to show you once we open the book, but I just wanted to kind of give you a gist of how they're producing these books and what their goals are with this. Now, this is more expensive than a typical omnibus. The Marvel omnibuses are usually like $125, and you can pick them up for way cheaper than that on sites like cheapgraphicnovels.com. But this clocks in at $200. This is obviously way bigger than an omnibus. And actually, I'm going to grab an omnibus to show you the size difference. So here is a regular Marvel omnibus. This is the Amazing Spider-Man Volume 2. I just picked that up off my shelf because I don't have Volume 1 yet. It hasn't been delivered yet. But just for size comparison, that's a typical Marvel omnibus. And this is the Taschen Spider-Man Volume 1. So the omnibus is already oversized because here is a single comic issue. And so an omnibus is already bigger art than what you get in a regular comic. So you can just see how gigantic this book actually is. Kind of incredible. All right, so as we open this up, first of all, the cover is like a material, which is really cool. It's not just like cardboard with like a gloss coat over it. This is like actual material, which is really cool. The spine just says Spider-Man Volume 1, 1962 to 1964. And then, oh shoot, this is unwieldy. The back is issue 19. So, pretty awesome. Comes with a ribbon bookmark, which is always a nice touch. So let's crack this open. This is, of course, sewn binding. I should talk about that first. Sewn binding. Mine seems to be coming up just a little bit, the glue. Because there is obviously, even though it's sewn binding, there is some glue. The eye is a pretty decent eye. It'll lay flat, when you're reading the issues. But all right, so you get these giant panels done in blue and white. You get a couple of those. You get, there's only 5,000 copies, so you get your copy number, which is cool. And this is a sticker or something that they put in each book because it's not flush with this page. A couple more panels, and then you get this fold out, The Amazing Spider-Man. So I just thought this was kind of a neat touch. All right, so here is the table of contents. You get the foreword, and then you get a write-up called A New Kind of Hero. And then, of course, the main section is going to be the comics from pages 46 all the way to 670. So it collects Amazing Fantasy number 15, which is, of course, the first appearance of Spider-Man. And then he gets his own series. Amazing Spider-Man number 1 through 19 are all in here. And then the Amazing Spider-Man Annual number 1, which is the first appearance of the Sinister Six altogether. And then the end, the last like 20 or 30 pages or so, is basically history, storyline and credits, the birth of Spider-Man, and biographies. So let's flip through here. Now, these pages where they do kind of like essays and historical context stuff, these are all like glossy and pretty thick, but when you, I'm going to flip through a few more of these so you can see, just kind of talks about a little bit of the history of how Spider-Man came together, how Stan Lee and Steve Ditko, started working on the book. It's got some raw art pages, which is always cool to see Steve Ditko's art uninked. But then, let me get to the comics. This is really cool. Got the Spidey with the Human Torch and the Green Goblin all on this big splash page. All right, then you get a few more of these giant comic panels, and then the comics. So this is really cool. So this is still a glossy page, just like it would be in like a comic book. When you flip it open, you're going to notice that they leave the ads intact, which is kind of cool because, you know, ads from like 1962 to 1964, you know, you can just kind of chuckle at them. It's kind of a novelty to have these in here. I view it as history. It's historical. Now the comics themselves, they just went above and beyond. They printed it on this like newspaper material, but it's not like cheap newspaper. It's like a really thick, this is quality newspaper material, but it's to give you the effect, the closest effect that you can get of reading an actual copy from 1962. They did the same thing with the way they colored it, which you can learn more about on their website. I don't really know much about printing and all that process, so I'll leave that to the experts. But this collects, here's the Amazing Fantasy number 15. This is the first appearance of Spider-Man. So this isn't obviously the whole Amazing Fantasy issue. This is just like whatever Spider-Man's in. Look at those ads. So whenever an ad appears at the beginning and end of the issue, it's always the glossy pages, and then the comics are always the newsprint, which is, like I said, is really cool. So then you get into the Amazing Spider-Man solo series. This is issue 1. Same thing that's on the cover. Here's an ad that you'll never see again. The encyclopedia. Pretty sure everything you need to know you can find on the internet. Do they even sell encyclopedias anymore? It'd be kind of a, a funny thing to know. I'm going to look that up later, just out of curiosity. So there's a lot of like really awesome first appearances in these issues. I'm not going to flip through the entire book. Obviously, for, I think, copyright issues, I'm not really allowed to. I'm not sure how that works. But look, even ads for other Marvel books. So there's X-Men number 2 with the Vanisher. There's an Avengers ad. And something I really, really love is the letter pages. So once Spider-Man came out and fans started writing in to Marvel, they would print fan letters in the back of the books, and that's what we get right here. And I just find that fascinating. I love to read through the letter pages and just see how fans felt about the series at the time. You can tell the adult readers versus the children that write in, you know. It's just really funny to think about the fact that a lot of these kids that wrote in are, you know, older than me and older than my parents. So just kind of neat history, you know? I mean, that's how I kind of view these old issues. This is like Marvel history. So anyways, we'll get to the back here. The very last thing printed in this book is, of course, Amazing Spider-Man Annual number 1, which I am so glad that they decided to go ahead and put this issue in. Oh, haven't gone far enough, I guess. So, yeah, here we go. The Amazing Spider-Man Annual 1. So this was a 72-page annual, and it was the first appearance of the Sinister Six. So, I mean, look at all these classic villains. Most of these have been in movies. So you got Mysterio, the Vulture, Electro, Sandman, Dr. Octopus, and Kraven the Hunter, who is really the only one I think that hasn't been a movie villain. So just look how iconic just this issue alone is. So to get it reprinted, because let's face it, if you were to buy these issues in a halfway decent condition, I'm never going to be able to afford a copy of some of these, especially like Amazing Fantasy 15 goes for like thousands and thousands of dollars, even a really crappy copy. But it's just really cool to have this collected. So yeah, so you get issues 1 through 19, you get the annual, and then you get Amazing Fantasy 15. I know that might not seem like a lot for $200, but look at this format. It's a huge oversized format. You get the quality pages. This is just a really well put together book. I can't praise it enough. So in the history section, you get the storyline summaries and credits, which I think is kind of cool. Everyone deserves credit for their work. And you can kind of see historically who was working on these books at the time. So the main writer, obviously, is Stanley. And then Steve Ditko did all the art. But yeah, it's just kind of neat because you get to see who did the letters, the colors, pencils, and inks, the script, and who the editor was at the time. So, and it's kind of nice to have like a little story summary for each one. So that is that. And then you get some of these original art pages for Amazing Fantasy 15. This is just really cool to see. You get to see like all the notes written in the margins, just how they laid out the book. I mean, this is kind of incredible, to be honest, because, you know, where else are you going to see these? This is probably just someone's collection that the public would have never really gotten a hold of had they not been reprinted here. So I just think it's wonderful that they reprinted all those. Another cool splash page with Sandman. And then biographies. So it's just a little something on each person that had a hand in creating Spider-Man, or who worked on Spider-Man or worked at Marvel at the time. And then you've got the end pages, which are, you know, more of these giant comic panels. So that is that. This thing is massive. You could probably beat someone to death with it. I wouldn't recommend that, but you could. You can get this on Taschen's website. I will link to that website below. You can also pick this up, I think, on Amazon. I think Taschen has copies on there too, which you might be able to pick up. I think when I looked, they're like maybe $15 cheaper, but I bought it straight from their website because I wanted to pre-order it. I wanted to make sure that I got one of the 5,000 copies, because that's it. You know, that's part of why collectors collect, right? You know, you want to be one of the people that gets the thing. So I know $200 is kind of a expensive price point for some people, but they do allow you to pay with PayPal, and PayPal lets you do pay in 4, so you can spread that $200 out and make a $50 payment every 2 weeks. So if you're interested and you don't just have $200 to just throw down instantly, that is an option. But if you're a fan of Spider-Man or just like the history of comics in general, I think it's not a must-have, because let's face it, $200 is a lot of money, but I would definitely recommend this book. I'm so glad that I picked it up. I know they're going to do more of these. They actually title this Volume 1 on the cover, so not sure. You know, on their website they refer to this as Volume 1, so I'm not sure if they're going to print a Volume 2. I know for sure that we're getting the Avengers, so that'll probably be similar to this, first 19 or 20 issues, maybe with an annual. We'll probably get the Fantastic Four, because that was obviously the first big hit for Marvel in the Silver Age. And then I'm personally hoping we get the X-Men because I'm a huge X-Men fan. And so I just want to kind of help spread the word because there's a few videos out there that people have done reviews on this on the internet, but there's not many. So I think this book kind of flew under the radar. I just want to kind of help spread the word. So if you're interested, I will have those links down below. I hope you enjoyed, my review. All right, guys. I want to thank you so much for watching my review of this amazing book. See what I did there? Like I said, I'm going to have links down below if you want to pick this up for yourself. I highly recommend it. It gets 2 thumbs up from me. So for what it's worth, maybe it's not worth anything, but definitely if you're a Spider-Man fan, pick it up. All right, I will hopefully be back soon. I will see you guys later. Peace.